the pieces that I was missing. So now we're recording. Okay, back in action. So the first time you enable your mic, you want to say allow, because what that does is tells your computer that you're going to access your microphone. When it's grayed out like this, it's not turned on, but notice my cursor's down here and it's ready for me. So I'm going to turn on my mic and now it's turned red and it's going to start typing as I'm talking. So I'm going to read my poem. Invitation. If you're a dreamer, come in. If you're a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire. For we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. Then I can turn that off. Now notice that was pretty accurate, right? I did stutter a little bit. I missed a few spots, but holy smokes, I was quickly able to write and recite and read that poem. So think back to the kiddos that we work with in your classrooms, or the students maybe that are just starting to access school or in our preschool, right? They may not have the skill set yet to write, but boy, do they come in and tell you stories. They want you to have all of these stories and they want them written down. So just by a simple click of turning on this voice typing, we have given those students that power to see their words on paper and also see it tracking. But we have students who don't ever read it back, right? They don't ever go back and listen to what they have written. So in our friend Google, we have this little thing over here on the right, and I don't know if I can zoom into it because it'll make it super tiny. But this is called an extension. So the first extension I'm going to show is a free one. This is free to everybody, and it's an easy thing to install on a browser. This one is called Read and Write. Just by clicking this purple puzzle piece, I have now turned on this extension. And I will show you back in our slideshow, we have it listed in here. So I promise I have everything in here, but I feel Tech Bits makes us want to play. So we want to dive in and play. So I'm back to my Google Doc here, right? So I have this little bar that pops up. I'm going to put my cursor here at the top, and all I do is hit play and watch what magically happens.
And now it's turned red and it's going to start typing because I'm talking. So I'm going to read my poem Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wish, or a liar, over a prayer.
So it started to read it back to me. I'm not sure why it didn't highlight, but typically it will highlight for me as it reads word to word. So we're going to pretend that blue writing was going on, and you have Grammarly helping me out as well. So all my extensions are talking to each other, but that is the quickest way in a Google Doc to have our students have access. Now, it can be accessed at preschool all the way through an adult. I can't tell you how many of us use this on a daily basis. I dictate all the time because I may be jumping from meeting to meeting. And so I need to take a note. I need to have something done. I can't spell on the fly, so I dictate in my words to have them spelled to me. So this is not only a tool for our students, but this is something that adults and parents can use. So very quickly, again, in a Google Doc, I went to Tools. I went down to voice typing. As soon as I turn on voice typing, oops, I just turned it off. Just kidding. As soon as I turn that on, this little microphone pops up. And then I went to my Chrome web store and I downloaded this extension called Read and Write. It's a purple little tile. And so if I go, just so you're aware, the Chrome web store is pretty amazing if you've never been there. You just type in Chrome Web Store in your search menu and it brings you to this store. And there are tons and tons of free Chrome extensions that you can jump on and grab. And so up here at the top, I just type in Read and Write. And then that is from Text Help, and they're one of our friends. And so because I have this green line here, it's already added to my extensions up here. And then when I click on my puzzle piece, I just clicked on the little blue push pin right here, and I pinned it to my bar so I could find it very easily. So that's what it looks like to do speech to text and text to speech in a Google Doc. Are there any questions? Awesome. But wait, there's
Can I-
more. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
There's always more. I just wanted to say that I dropped an accessible I'm sorry, a speech recognition guide for teaching students into the chat. So if anybody is working with students, it has things like cue cards that can help students remember that they need to think it, say it, hear it, and then correct it, because speech recognition is really difficult for some kids, and this is a really great way to do it, and a great resource for teachers out there who need to teach it to their students for the first time.
Oops, that's not the one. I was trying to grab the extension, the resource from you. And I,
Oh, let's see, it's in the chat line. Let's see.
I think I got it. There we go.
Oh.
This one?
It should go directly to the drive. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think-
Yes, that's the one though. The first one. There you go.
Sweet. Just so you can see what we're talking about. Here it
And
is.
the handouts are at the very end of the document, so you can make people dizzy. Scroll, scroll, scroll.
Almost. I was
Oh,
close.
sorry, up a little. Yep, yep.
There we go.
There we go. So they're the perfect size for like Chromebooks that you could put like tape it to the Chromebook. Also, if you scroll up in the document, there's some posters to put in the rooms, as well as guidance for students. So kind of like a step-by-step how to learn how to do this. So
Absolutely. Thank you, Megan. I love that. So this same type of process works if we were to look at a Microsoft Word document. So lo and behold, I have one loaded. So here we are in Microsoft Word. And I love Microsoft Word because I'm in the online version right now, but it looks very similar if you have it just on your desktop. So Microsoft Word Online, if you scroll across here, what do we notice? There's that dictation microphone. It's already built in, and it is so simple that literally I just hit dictate. In theory, there it is. And it's over here and it's already listening. And as I'm talking, it's grabbing what I'm saying, but it stopped and now it's giving me help. Sorry, and I can move this little guy over, maybe not. Close this. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it back on. When it turns blue, it means you're dictating and you heard that little cue that it's starting to pick up what I'm saying. I can stop it. And then the cool thing about Microsoft is when you go in, is the reference? No. They moved it on me. Oh, here it is. You go into view. When I'm in view, instead of me using my read and write extension, which I could use if I'm in the online version of Microsoft, but Microsoft has it built in already for a reader to have that text to speech. And so that text to speech is called immersive reader. So if I send my students a Word document, maybe I'm going to send them a Word document through Google Classroom, maybe we're using email, maybe we're using Clever, we're using Schoolology, we're using Canvas, any of the platforms where you're sending your students documents, they can open up the Word document and all they do is click immersive reader. It changes that document, and look down here, I have my play button so I can hear it read to me.
Yes, and it's over here and it's already listening. When it turns blue, it means.
So it's reading kind of fast, right? I can go into my settings right here and I can adjust my settings. So I love their visual. There's a turtle and a rabbit. I can adjust the turtle and the rabbit to go slower or faster. Research tells us, though, that we don't want to slow it down all the way so that our students are always only hearing a robotic voice. Because, Megan, what are the numbers again that we speak?
Oh, we speak at 80 to 100 and 120 words per minute. We usually read fluently in our head, if you're a fluent reader, at 160 words a minute. So it's 80 to 100 words per minute that people usually speak. I speak about 120. So
Yeah.
I'm a fast talker. So unfortunately, that means that if you're listening to the text, that it's going to take you double the time as someone who's reading internally. And so if you can learn how to speed that voice speed up, you become a much more efficient reader, and students adjust to it very quickly. I listen to my texts at a very fast rate because I've been doing it for a long time.
And our colleague Cami, she'll go in and she will adjust even videos that she's watching, or if she's getting something auditorially, she'll have it read 2 times the speed. So as long as I make sure when you're showing students and that they're using the text to speech has a way of reading, that we don't always leave them at that slow robotic rate, because we're never going to increase that reading fluency. And we want them to get adjusted to that conversation rate of speaking. And there's many times, like when I get excited and I start talking, I go super fast, and then I talk with my hands and everything keeps going. But we want our students to be able to see that they can increase that rate of speed. And many of our kids are used to the computer voices, and the voices have come a long way. So they're not so robotic that they can actually increase the rate of speed. But I did want to share that. And notice, what else did you see was happening during this text while it was reading? Let me read it again.
Go for
Means
it.
you're dictating and you
What did we notice?
Highlighting.
It's highlighting, right? So all of these are highlighting, helping our students track. They're reading left to right. Did you see that it kind of darkened the background as well? So it really focused in on that. So it had like a built-in line reader for it. So it's moving line by line. There are also some great sections over here. You can change the font. So I can change the font for my students. I can increase the size. I can increase the spacing. And then I can change my color themes so that it's highlighting, or my background theme. So it's not necessarily just on that white background. For my students who need those color contrasts, you can adjust those as well. There's also some other advanced features, but I like to show where these are found, because many times students will come in and they're doing this and they've changed the background on you and you're like, oh, did you break it? Or what did you do? So it's always a key thing to share with teachers of what's going on with that. So that is Microsoft Word, which is pretty amazing.
Can I yes and?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and.
Awesome. I just wanted to say that as a professional who gets a lot of emails, you will notice that the immersive reader button is also in your email. Any Outlook email has immersive reader right there, and you can always press play and listen to your emails at a fast speed while you're doing other things in your office. So just wanted to point that out because they've integrated it into many of the tools.
Question.
Yes.
And it's going back to the one prior to this, the read and
write.
yes. Do you have to say period for there to be a period? Oh, you do. Okay. I just
Yeah, for any of these, you have to put in the punctuation.
Okay.
So and that's a good thing that goes back to this handout here, to think it, say it, check it. Because many times our students who dictate, they just turn it in, has it, was, is that, and then they're like, I did it. How am I, what's wrong? And when they get it back, it's, well, you didn't put any punctuation. There's no capitalization, like any of those. So it's a great teachable moment for them to be able to check it and then also fix it, which is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Any other questions on those two? Okay, the next one, I'm gonna have Megan, do you want to show it on the iPad? Because Pages does very similar. So I'm going to stop share and let Megan jump on, since my iPad decided not to play nice. And I think you should be able to share.
There we go. Just a second. Just mirroring onto my computer real fast. There we go. Whoops. There we go. I'm going to share my screen. If it'll come up. Just a second, guys. Sorry. There
No,
we
you're good.
go.
We celebrate tech by going, woo!
Yay! I'm almost there. Woohoo! All right. It says that you can see my screen. Can you?
We still see your Google one. Maybe
Oh, okay. So let me try one more time. Doop doop. Or if you want to go on for just a second and then I'll get it set up and then we'll come right back to me. You want
Yep.
to do that?
absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. I'm going to unshare for a sec.
You're good. Okay, I'm going to reshare mine. And while she's doing that, I'm going to actually minimize this. And I have a Pages document that is Apple. Oh, look, my iPad is trying to talk to me now. Thank you. Okay, so here is what is equivalent to a word processing document in Apple. It's called Pages. And so with Pages, when you go up to their right here, when you go to edit, oops, went to my Finder. When you go to edit, you can start dictation right here. And so when I do that, another little microphone pops up and it's going to start hopefully gathering what I'm saying, but sometimes it doesn't like it when we're on a computer, when I'm on Zoom, but same type of thing pops up. The same microphone is here. And usually it starts with the dictation. Now it's going to disappear. Let's see if I can get it back on. Are you going to talk for me? So in theory, it would be across the screen. I'm typing, so we have it. But notice that in Apple, it would do the same thing. It will follow the same rules. And so it's under edit. And then when you go over to, oh, there it is. I lost it. Where is it? Right here. Still under edit. Then you would go to speech and you would say start speaking.
Are you going to talk for?
So that is the voice that's built into my Mac, but it's hidden into in some of the menus. So on a Mac, under edit is where these tools lie. So start dictation as well as the speech part. Okay. So while Megan's doing that, I'm going to pull up the next thing that we were going to share, which is pretty fun. I'm gonna move this guy out of my way. Can you guys still see my Word document page? My poem, my shell still, okay. So I don't know why this guy's here. He's just gonna go away. All right. So there's some really cool things that are out there, and I'm gonna go to this website called Dogo News, okay? This is a great website for news for kiddos. If you've never been to this, it has some simplified news stories that are out there and they're filtered. So it's just dogonews.com, and I can actually drop that in the chat if I could find where my little menu went, or maybe Candace can for me. She wouldn't mind dropping it in the chat.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. So Dogo News is so much fun, but this also helps allow for us to show you some other free extensions that are out there. So there's a lot kind of going on the screen, right? So part of UDL is making sure things are accessible, making sure that there's not all these other distractions that are happening for our students. So here's this great story about the mystery of the missing Alaskan snow crabs. So they're starting to disappear. But I know some of my kids would get totally distracted from this. So I have this little extension up here. It looks like a rocket ship, but it is called Spotlight, Postlight Reader. So they've now created this Postlight Reader. And now look what happened. When I click that in Chrome, it removed all of those extra distractions. And now I can just focus on that story with my students. And we can what is called app smash it now. So we can smash that in with my read and write, which I'm going to, in theory, turn on. There it is. And all I do is hit play. Yay, it would say the mystery of the missing snow crab. But if you don't have read and write and you happen to be a part of our New Mexico UDL project, we have this extension called Snap and Read. And in theory, Snap and Read will turn on. There we go. Having such a struggle here. Once Snap and Read is on, and I come over here and it's an extension as well. I click on this speaker and I come right here.
Maybe try refreshing the page.
Do what?
Try refreshing the page.
Okay. Maybe it's because I put the distraction on, but I'm going to come over here to Snap and Read, and I'm going to.
Every winter, Alaskan fishers head out to the Bering Sea to harvest snow crabs. However, on October 10th, 2020.
So Snap and Read is pretty powerful in itself because it allows for my reader, just by a click of a button, I can have everything read on the screen here with Snap and Read. Also in Snap and Read, just like I did with this Postlight reader, I can click on that and I can remove distractions as well. And so I can have my distractions gone again with that. And then the other cool part about Snap and Read is I also have this line reader built in. So there's levels of support within these extensions. Some students may just need this line reader and they can read it on their own. Some students may need the assistance of the voice to be able to highlight and track it. Some students may need both. And when I hit play.
Every winter, Alaskan fishers head out to the Bering Sea to harvest snow crabs. However, on October 10th, 2022, officials announced that the 2022
So notice that you can adjust that. Along with Snap and Read, there are some amazing options, and I didn't realize my colors went so wonky. You can change the colors and the look of what's highlighting and how it's being read. And I actually may change this too.
And we had a question that said, what was the extension that removed distractions?
It is called Postlight. Let me go over here. If we go in the handout and we go to, where did it go? Oh no, did it disappear? I know it's here.
It's in there somewhere. I can drop it if you like.
Right here.
Okay.
It's called Postlight Reader. And it's a totally free extension that eliminates distractions anywhere in Google Chrome. And so I love this because it just helps bring back that focus for our students, because with Universal Design for Learning, we want to make sure that there is some focus in there and that they're able to focus on the task at hand. So along with those ones, Megan, tell me if you're ready or I can keep going.
I'm ready.
Okay, I will stop sharing before I jump into the next stuff. So
Okay,
you
cool.
can share what the cool things of the iPad does.
Wonderful.
And I promise next week, we're going to have a whole session on just iPads.
We love it. There's so many accessible features in here. So is everybody seeing my iPad now?
We are.
Whoop, whoop. All right. So I am going to go into the settings, which is the icon at the very bottom right here. I'm going to go in, and there's a huge section on accessibility in here. And if you haven't kind of dabbled in this before, I'll tell you, teenagers are really good at this, because you could run your phone with a shattered screen with some of the adaptations. So ask a teenager, they will be able to find your accessibility features for you. So here, we're not going to go over everything, but I'll show the two most powerful features. I also always say a caution, because there are two ways to make the iPad speak out loud. One of them, it just reads the text that you choose, just like Janae was doing and her other programs and extensions. But the second kind of reader that it has is called VoiceOver. I would caution not turning on VoiceOver. It actually is made for individuals with significant visual impairment or who are blind, and it changes the way you interact with the iPad. So I often get calls saying, my iPad won't stop reading, turn it off, how do you do that? So the VoiceOver is very in-depth. That's not what most people need, although I work with some individuals that do amazing with it. The section that we want to look at is the spoken content section. And in here, we can actually turn on these switches so it will speak a selection of what we wanted. we can say we want to hear the whole screen. And right now you'll see I have a little button that pops up on my screen and will read text that I point to, or text from the top to the bottom of the page. I also encourage people to turn on highlight content, which is what Janae was just talking about with the colors, doing words and sentences. You can have a background color do it, or you can have an underline. And then just like the others, we can choose a default color for highlighting and for sentences. And then what happens is anywhere that you're in the iPad with readable text, and I went to Wikipedia, right? Because that is a very popular place our kids go. I can either highlight the text, and all of a sudden we have a new little button on the top of it that says speak.
Duck is the common name for numerous species of waterfowl in the family Anatidae. Ducks are generally smaller and shorter necked than swans and geese, which are members of the same family.
Just a little fast. I like it that fast though. So that's how I do it. So did you guys get to see the highlighting? Yep, awesome. So you can also change the rate of speed, the voice, and a lot of other things in here. The other thing that really helps, especially in something like Wikipedia or CNN, where there's ads everywhere and bars and tables, just like she said before with I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call it Rocket. The remove distractions feature, there's one built right in. So I just press this AA at the top in my address bar, and I can actually say show reader, and it takes away all of the other stuff. And so then we can have it read out loud. This time I'm not going to highlight it. I'm just going to open my little controller I ask it to open, and I can press play.
8.1 citations, 8.2 sources 9. External links, etymology. The word duck comes from Old English, deuce diver.
And then it looks like an old tape recorder, right? So you can play, pause, go forward and backwards, and it's a really nice thing. I always keep mine open, just kind of docked on the side. And then whenever I want it to read to me, it's right there for me. I don't have to worry about changing the settings. Janae, do you want me to do dictation too, or?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize it was muted. Yes, can you open up a Pages document?
Yes, definitely.
Phenomenal. So what we find is sometimes school districts turn off Siri, and we don't necessarily want Siri to be turned off, because Siri is what allows for dictation to take place on an iPad. And so as Megan pops up that keyboard, what do you notice there that we've been seeing in common when we do speech to text? What do you guys see?
Microphone, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Megan had turned on the microphone. Oh, look, we're doing root beer, which I love. That's hilarious.
I don't like root beer.
So it's very, very simple to do a dictation. And how fun would this be too at the preschool level? Notice how Megan and I were just both of us carrying on a conversation. You could have both students document what they're talking about at the same time. High school, you can have group work. I can't tell you how many kids go in and actually do dictation. In a classroom, I know there's extra sounds going on, but they make headphones that'll, oops, she turned on. There we go. They make headphones with the mic built in that will help adjust with that. And now, Megan, do you think we can make it read to us?
Oh, I bet you we could, couldn't we? Let's see. Let's try this guy right
A
here.
derivative of the verb, duken. To duck.
Or we can highlight it, right? And have it read out loud with our little pop-up. Speak.
So Megan had turned on the microphone. Oh, look, we're doing root beer. I don't like root beer, so it's very, very simple to do a dictation. And how fun would this be to at the preschool level? Notice how, Megan.
There we go. Oh, I have not trained this device to say Megan.
I know. I was a little confused there. I was like, who are we talking about?
I know, right? I usually go in and make Siri learn my name. So
which is awesome. So the cool thing about an iPad is now that she has on, I'm sorry, my dog's gonna bark here for a second, but now that she has on the accessibility for the spoken content, that'll work anywhere within the iPad. Megan, I'm gonna pass it to you while my dog's barking. Go.
Oh, okay. Know that there are a ton of other amazing features, including now built into the camera. And I'm going to do this, but I have no text in front of me. Let's see if I can do this. When you open your camera, there is actually let's see if I can get it to get something on the screen. Nope. Just a second. I'm trying to find something that will read the text. Go back to Wikipedia, huh? Here we go. Oh, there's Postlight Reader. Let's see if we can get that. Doop doop. So when we're looking at text, it now senses that it's text, and it will actually read that out loud if you want. I'm getting a terrible picture here, so we'll see if it'll do it. But it actually will turn it straight into readable text, and you can copy and paste. Whoa, come on, dude. I saw it pop up. Did anyone else? There
Yeah,
it
it
is.
was there.
There it is. So now it's grab that text off. It can read it. I can copy it.
Clear the clutter from your articles.
And this is a pretty new feature here. So see if you had left your reading glasses, maybe had forgotten at a restaurant, you could actually hold it over the menu and have it read immediately to you by just holding over that little bracket. So that's a pretty cool new addition for the latest version.
Awesome.
Did you want me to cover anything else in accessibility?
Nope, because we're gonna save that for next week.
Oh, yay! Wonderful.
Yeah, we're gonna fully dive into the iPad next week. But we have about 10 minutes left. We're gonna save some time for some questions, but I want to show you. We're gonna jump into. So we've talked. Oh, my document here. I was trying to clear it. We've talked a whole lot about language arts, reading and writing. But if we jump back into this document that we shared with everybody, what about some tools for math? If we're talking about math, what about math? But before I jump into that, I forgot one key thing here. Okay, so there are some other really cool tools that you can now look for. So Apple Clips, it only lives on an iPad or an iPhone. The reason I love Apple Clips is because it will do live captioning. So you can actually go in and make a video for your students and caption it while you're talking or giving a tutorial. And then you can share that little clip with anybody and you already have it captioned. Along with the live captioning, anything you upload into YouTube now will automatically caption it as well for you. So any videos you do in YouTube is amazing because many times we forget that we actually need to be able to provide captions for folks. Just like here on Zoom, we can turn on live transcripts. And if you needed it, we could actually caption the entire thing that we're doing right now, which is pretty awesome. So once that's on, live captioning is pretty amazing. The other cool thing that we have is called Immersive Reader. I'm sorry, my dog is losing her mind. But it's always, that's the way it goes. Immersive Reader is amazing because notice here, it's built into so many things now. It's built into, and it's free. It's built into Microsoft. It's built into Minecraft. It's built into Nearpod. It's built into Flipgrid. There are a ton of different things that actually have Immersive Reader completely built into it, which is pretty amazing. So with that, now we're going to jump into math. We always talk about reading and writing. How are we going to make it amazing for UDL? Well, holy smokes, there are some great things out there now for math. Microsoft Math Solver is actually a free web-based tool, as well as a tool that can be downloaded on it. It has an app. And so with that, you just download it. And I'm going to see if I can pop up this little clip that we can watch real quick.
I'll be demoing the new Microsoft Math Solver app, which is free on iOS or Android. So I'm going to launch the app here, and this lets me take a picture of any equation on a piece of paper here. Now I'm going to take a picture. It runs OCR and scans it in, and look at that, it solves it immediately. But it gives me a couple choices, and I'm going to choose steps for completing the square, and then I'm going to click get step-by-step solution right here. Look at that, it has all the steps and it helps walk me through. So it explains each step. I hit the down arrow at the bottom and it goes to the next step. So it lets me go step by step through the whole solution, which is really powerful. Now, if I scroll down, I also get a graph. And look at this, I make it a little bit bigger and I can explore the graph here. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can have the different aspects down here that I can explore, turn some on, turn some off. I can also, scrolling back here, I can get videos. So here are some videos to help me that are similar to that equation, like exploring quadratic equations. I scroll down because this is powered by Bing. I have related concepts and it pulls those in. It even pulls in worksheets or similar problems on the web. So it's really allowing.
And we're not going to spend the whole 2 minutes on watching this, but the reason I brought this up is because so many times our students don't have the resources at home when they're working on math or the supports they need, because many times math is a struggle. And so I love, and people will tell you it's cheating, it's cheating. It's not really cheating. If they're taking the time to figure out how to step by step go through and solve this, they are learning that concept. They're not spending their time doing 15 math problems wrong the whole time. They're actually learning how to do it correctly and going through step by step. And I will tell you, so my kiddo has been bringing home some math that is well above my knowledge base, that this has been a game changer for her as well, because it's taken the time. And I love the fact that it links you to additional videos on YouTube, because let's be honest, YouTube has become an amazing resource for us all. And that's where we go. Like if I need to learn how to fix something, I Google it and I go to YouTube and I watch the video on how to fix something. So I show this not as a tool for cheating, but rather as a resource for students, because that's the biggest thing that we get, that it is something cheating. The other tool that if you're a part of our New Mexico UDL Pioneer Project is we provide Equatio. And so Equatio is free for teachers to be able to use, but we provide the paid part of it that gives you all the premium features. And oh my goodness, so Equatio at its simplest form is an equation editor, but dang, this guy brings in all kinds of stuff for you. So if I go back to my Google Doc here, Equatio is just this little extension. Again, we talked about the Chrome Web Store. So if I go to this extension and I turn it on, what do you notice? I'm going to turn off Snap and Read here so it's out of our way. What do you notice popped up down here on the bottom? All these cool things, right? So at its simplest form, right, is this equation editor. When I open this up, in theory, there we go. It's going to pull up this like blind or shade. And so if I wanted to start typing because maybe I needed a formula, or I just basically wanted to solve a math problem, if I wanted 5x plus 3x, equals, that's my equation. But many times we don't, if we're giving math problems to our students, it doesn't always come out in the correct form. Give me the correct formulas. All I can do, or I can edit that, I could solve it, or I could give just my students that math problem. And when I say insert math, it added it right into my Google Doc right there for me. I can come in and I can change colors for my students. I can add text color. But if I want to then come in here and I hit enter, I could start looking for, if I wanted parentheses, if I wanted the Pythagorean theorem, if I didn't know how that worked, if I wanted a quadratic equation, I wanted the quadratic formula because that's what my students were working on. I can put all of these in and have it insert into my Google Doc here. And so notice that it did both. If I wanted to go back in here and I can actually edit my math and I can take this part away, take it away and still have that formula in there. So that's at its most simple level, right? It has an equation editor. But what if I wanted to be able to have my students, so let me actually edit math and clear the board here. Let's clear this out and actually throw that in the trash. Okay, so if I wanted my students to be able to do some handwriting, because I don't necessarily recognize their handwriting, right? So if I wanted them, they had a iPad, a trackpad, something, and I couldn't recognize their handwriting, they can come in here and they can do their math problems by writing. I'm just writing on my trackpad, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert math. Okay, so now I have my new, and it picked up the dot because I put a dot on my trackpad, but I've added that in, right? I'm going to hit return on my Google Doc. If I needed more space, I can pull these 3 dots and I can pull this up and I can have more space in there. So it has handwriting. If I jump over here and I want speech input and my student is struggling with writing, they need assistance with that. They just don't want to write today, but they would be more than happy to tell you what's going on. I can turn on this microphone and I can start talking. It's not going to do math over there because I'm only talking about math, correct? So if I say 5x plus 3x equals 25, it's put it in over there, right? I guess it got my 2's, but I can pull those off and now I have math in there. So my students can have equation editor to find formulas. They can go in there and they can speak math. You can take photos with the Equatio mobile. You can actually go into a site called Math Space, where my students can actually come in here and build with shapes. So if we were talking about a circle and we were talking about breaking it up, and maybe I want to draw a half in there, so I could talk about half. It's a great way for my students to really interact and make math fun. Candace or Megan, do you want to add anything else about Equatio? I know I'm just giving the highlights here. We only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in Los Alamos, we were doing a training and one of the teachers said, if they took this away from me now, I would quit because I need this. And it really does speed teachers up when they're teaching math and science, and especially things like the mobile tool where they could take a picture of an old worksheet and have it turned immediately into an editable text that they could use to teach the kids. And the grading platform is really nice as well.
Yes, I'd like to add to that too, Megan. And I apologize, my video is not on. I am currently driving to Chama, but I wanted to add that Equatio has been awesome for a lot of teachers because it's pretty much giving, the math-based part of it is pretty much giving students a place, like a piece of paper. And you know how students always run out of places to do their work on a worksheet or somewhere? This is a space that is an endless amount of space for them to bring in those virtual manipulatives. And there are hundreds of them, base 10 blocks, clocks, and they can manipulate them. But then also teachers can create assignments, send them to the students can complete them, and then they can send them back to the teacher for grading. The teacher can grade them and send them back to the student. And so it cuts out the paperwork piece of things, but it also gives those students the accessibility to the manipulatives they need, or the handwriting tool, or the pieces that Janae has shown you.
Awesome. Thanks, Candace. So we have just begun the tip of the iceberg on accessibility and UDL. We're going to run out of time, but in here, our last favorite one. So this is a brand new one. I can't leave without telling you about this one. Helper Bird is amazing. Totally a free extension, and it works in Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and Safari, and it works in Google Doc. And we are so excited about this because it works in Google Slides. Most things work so in Google Slides, but Helper Bird works in Google Slides, which is amazing. So it's this cool little owl here. He's off right now, but when I turn him on, there's a premium feature to it, but notice here, so I can take this in I can view Immersive Reader. I can kick it into reader mode. I can translate within it. You can pay for these other features, but I have a feeling they're going to offer other cool things. But when I double click, oh, is it not going to pop up? Maybe I have to go back to my doc. It was working in my email, but like when I double clicked on stuff, this cool toolbar popped up and allowed for me to do all these other cool things. I literally found this, and Megan and I were working on this because they didn't have all these cool, fun things. But if I view an immersive reader, I just clicked view an immersive reader, and now notice it took that whole Google Doc and it put it in immersive reader. And I'm going to actually turn off Equatio, so it's out of your way. But now my whole Google Doc is in immersive reader, and I hit play.
Copy of speech recondition practice.
Which is funny that it called it recondition. But then I can go out of immersive reader and my Google Doc is back. So with helper owl or helper bird, it looks like an owl, helper owl. So when I do it again in here and I go to immersive reader, see if it does it on my slides. It's not doing it.
It may be because you're on a text box. Try clicking off.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, maybe it changed it. Okay. But it offers that there's a translation built in, and you have the ability to share stuff as well. So let's go back to my presentation. The other things that I want to leave you with is Grammarly. If you've never been a part of Grammarly, it's absolutely amazing. It helps with giving you suggestion for your writing. It works within your email. And then a cool takeaway before you leave today. So universal design for learning tools, 100% should be used in every single classroom, 100% can benefit all students, allows for voice and choice, and 100% allows for access for all. It creates our expert learners. So with that, Megan, so I know Candace is driving, if you, or I can drop it, if you wouldn't mind dropping our email in the chat, that is how you guys can reach all 5 of us. We are here for support, for follow-up, any way we can help. That's who we are. We are New Mexico UDL, and we would hope you guys would join us next week for our fun and excitement with Tech Bits Accessibility Throwdown iPad version. So we're going to do anything and everything that has to do with the iPad. So thank you guys. We'll hang for a little bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask questions.
I have 2. Is it the same link for next week as it was for this link? Because I got it. So I'll just move it to my calendar.
Perfect.
And then I tried, my post light is grayed out and I can't get it
To work. Do you not have, do you have text on your screen?
Yes.
Good.
Lots of text.
Right, good answer. Good answer. So it's grayed out as in
The extension's grayed out?
Yeah, the extension's grayed out.
So it was weird when I did it first. You might have to actually, it looks gray, and then did you click on it and it turns red?
It won't turn red. No, it just stays gray. You want me to uninstall and reinstall?
Yeah, try that because that might work. And then maybe refresh your page where the.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Once again, ladies, mind is blown.
Yay! Fun things, fun things.
Thank you for sharing all your valuable knowledge.
You're very welcome. Thanks for hanging with us. I had like heart attack. I was like, nobody's coming.
And I was like, she must just be running behind.
No, I was totally hanging out with you. I had
all
like
alone.
I had a cool welcome screen. I had music going. I was like, next week. I was.
You
totally
guys did awesome. You guys did great.
Do you want to share, Tawana, your screen?
Yeah, that's what I was about to suggest. Yeah.
Making you a co-host.
What? Which one did I share?
We see your
Desktop.
Your desktop, yeah.
Okay.
With your docs open.
No. Stop share. Share. That one. Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe. Now you have same thing, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
you guys are gonna have to help me learn whenever I'm in Zoom and I'm sharing